What if I told you that everything you learned in school about the dawn of civilization was only half the story? You were probably taught that it all began in Mesopotamia, with the Sumerians emerging from the fertile river valleys to build the world's first cities. Or maybe your focus was on Egypt, with the pharaohs raising the great pyramids from the desert sands. We see these grand monuments and read the familiar timelines, and we assume this is where our complex story as a species truly begins. But what if the seeds of civilization were planted thousands of years earlier, in places most textbooks barely mention? What if there were societies so advanced, so complex, that they completely shatter our entire understanding of the ancient world? Societies that organized, innovated, and built on a monumental scale, only to vanish, leaving behind enigmatic clues that we are only just beginning to piece together. Stick with me, because we're about to journey past the familiar tales of Sumer and Egypt. We're going to uncover a story that has been buried for millennia. A story of multiple beginnings, of forgotten pioneers who laid the groundwork for everything that was to come. This is the story of the real first civilizations. Before we venture into the unknown, we have to start with what we think we know. And for the better part of a century, the story of the first civilization has been centered in one place: Mesopotamia, the land between the Tigris and Euphrates rivers. Here, in the Fertile Crescent of modern-day Iraq, the Sumerians emerged somewhere around 4,500 to 4,000 BCE, and let's be clear, their achievements were nothing short of revolutionary. The Sumerians were the architects of the urban world. They didn't just create settlements. They built sprawling city-states like Uruk, Ur, and Eridu, complex hubs of trade, politics, and religion. They were governed by leaders, initially priest-kings and later warrior kings known as Lugals, who organized society on a scale never seen before. This explosion of social organization was fueled by incredible innovation. The Sumerians developed intensive irrigation, taming the unpredictable rivers to create an agricultural surplus that could feed a large, non-farming population of artisans, priests, and rulers. They are credited with inventing the wheel, or at least the first widespread use of it for pottery and transport technology that would literally mobilize the world. Perhaps their most profound contribution, however, was the invention of writing. Around 3500 BCE, the Sumerians developed cuneiform, a script of wedge-shaped marks pressed into wet clay tablets. Initially used for mundane record-keeping, tracking grain, counting livestock, it quickly evolved to record laws, literature, and epic myths like the Epic of Gilgamesh, one of the oldest known works of literature. It is this written record that has allowed us to know the Sumerians in such intimate detail. Their tablets tell us of their gods, their wars, their economy, and their view of the world. For these reasons, cities, writing, laws, large-scale agriculture, Sumer is rightly called a cradle of civilization. It provided a blueprint for what a complex society could look like. But the key question, the one they never taught you in school, is this: were they the only ones? And more importantly, were they even the first to exhibit the traits of a complex, organized society? The answer, buried under millennia of earth and historical bias, is a resounding no. Our story is much, much older. To find the first stop on our journey into the deep past, we must travel north of Mesopotamia to the plains of southeastern Turkey. Here, on a rounded hill known as Göbekli Tepe, or Potbelly Hill, lies a discovery that has completely upended the timeline of human history. First truly understood by archaeologist Klaus Schmidt in the 1990s, Göbekli Tepe is not a city, not a village, and not a tomb. It is a massive, sophisticated ritual complex, a sanctuary built of stone. What makes it so revolutionary is its age. Radiocarbon dating shows that the earliest structures at Göbekli Tepe were erected between 9,600 and 8,200 BCE. Let that sink in. This is more than 6,000 years before Stonehenge, 7,000 years before the Great Pyramids of Giza, and at least 5,000 years before the first cities of Sumer. The site consists of multiple circular enclosures. At the center of these circles stand massive T-shaped limestone pillars, some weighing up to 50 tons and standing over 16 feet tall. These megaliths are not crude blocks of rock. They are intricately carved with stunning reliefs of wild animals: foxes, boars, snakes, vultures, and scorpions. The level of artistry and engineering required to quarry, transport, carve, and erect these pillars is astonishing. But here's the truly paradigm-shifting fact about Göbekli Tepe. It was built by hunter-gatherers. The conventional historical narrative that we've all been taught is that civilization follows a neat, linear path. First, humans invent agriculture. This allows them to abandon their nomadic lifestyle and create permanent settlements. These settlements grow into villages, then towns, and finally, complex cities. Only then, with a stable food supply and a large population, can a society afford the luxury of building monumental religious structures. Göbekli Tepe flips that entire script on its head. The evidence suggests that the hunter-gatherer groups of the region came together to build this massive ceremonial center before they had fully developed agriculture or settled in permanent villages. This has led to a revolutionary new theory. Perhaps it wasn't agriculture that led to civilization, but the other way around. Perhaps the intense social organization, cooperation, and shared belief system required to build something as monumental as Göbekli Tepe was the very catalyst that spurred humanity towards settlement and farming. The builders would have needed to feed the hundreds of workers over long periods, creating an immense pressure to develop more stable and reliable food sources. The very definition of agriculture. So while Göbekli Tepe doesn't have writing or pottery, it has two crucial ingredients of civilization: monumental architecture and a highly organized, cooperative society driven by a shared, complex ideology. It suggests the human journey to civilization was first sparked not by a need for food, but by a need for meaning. Leaving the ancient Near East, our story now takes us to the Balkans of Southeast Europe, to a culture that flourished long before the glories of Greece and Rome. Between roughly 5400 and 4500 BCE, a sophisticated Neolithic society known as the Vinca culture thrived in the region of modern-day Serbia. The Vinca people were master farmers and builders, creating some of the largest and most densely populated settlements in prehistoric Europe, with some housing up to 2,500 people. Their towns showed signs of deliberate planning, with houses arranged in neat rows. But it's their technological and symbolic achievements that truly set them apart. One of their most remarkable innovations was metallurgy. Archaeological sites like Bela Vode and Plosnik in Serbia have provided secure evidence of copper smelting dating back to around 5000 BCE. This makes the Vinca culture the earliest known producers of copper tools in the world. They were extracting ore, heating it to extreme temperatures in furnaces, and casting it into tools like axes and chisels, as well as delicate beads and bracelets. This was a revolutionary technological leap, achieved a full 1,000 years before the so-called Bronze Age began in the Near East. Even more tantalizing are the strange symbols they left behind. Scratched onto pottery and clay figurines are a series of markings known as the Vinca symbols. The most famous examples are found on 3 small stone objects called the Tarcrea tablets. Discovered in Romania and dated to around 5300 BCE now, this is where a fierce debate begins. Some scholars argue that these symbols represent the world's earliest form of writing, a system of communication that predates Sumerian cuneiform by nearly 2 millennia. Others are more cautious, suggesting they are a form of proto-writing, not representing a spoken language, but serving as religious symbols, property marks, or a system of notation. Regardless of whether it was true writing, the Vinca symbols demonstrate an unprecedented level of symbolic thinking and communication for their time. This culture had a complex social organization, advanced technology, and a sophisticated system of symbols. While they may not fit the classic, Mesopotamian-centric definition of civilization, they were, without a doubt, one of the most advanced and influential societies of prehistoric Europe, challenging the idea that all major innovations flowed from the Near East. For our next stop, we must cross the globe to the arid coast of Peru. Here, in the Supe Valley, lies a civilization that arose in stunning isolation, developing a unique model of society that defies many of our assumptions about what a civilization needs to be. This is the world of the caral-supe, also known as the Norte Chico civilization. Flourishing between 3500 and 1800 BCE, the caral-supe is now recognized as the oldest known urban civilization in the Americas. Its timeline is staggering. It was contemporaneous with the construction of the Egyptian pyramids and the rise of the first Sumerian city-states. The heart of this civilization was the sacred city of Caral, a sprawling 626-hectare metropolis that reveals incredible urban planning. The city featured 6 large, flat-topped pyramids, sunken circular plazas, temples, an amphitheater, and residential complexes. The sheer scale of this architecture implies a powerful central authority capable of organizing and directing massive labor projects. But what makes the caral-supe truly fascinating is not just what they had, but what they didn't have. In all the excavations, archaeologists have found a complete lack of ceramics. This is a pre-ceramic culture that still managed to build monumental cities. Furthermore, there is no evidence of warfare. No defensive walls, no weapons, no mutilated bodies. This seems to have been a remarkably peaceful society, one that organized itself around trade and religion rather than conquest and conflict. Most significantly, they appear to have developed their complex society without what we consider a cornerstone of civilization, a true system of writing. Instead, they may have used a system of knotted strings known as quipu for record keeping, a practice famously continued by the Inca thousands of years later. The caral-supe civilization demonstrates that the path to complexity is not a single, universal ladder. It's a branching tree with many different roots. They prove that you don't need pottery, you don't need writing, and you don't need warfare to build a thriving, monumental urban society. Their existence is a powerful reminder that history is not a monolithic story, but a diverse collection of human experiments in living together. Finally, we turn to a civilization that was a direct contemporary of those in Mesopotamia and Egypt, yet in many ways was even more advanced. Flourishing from around 3,300 to 1900 BCE, the Indus Valley Civilization, also known as the Harappan Civilization, occupied a vast region covering parts of modern-day Pakistan and India. At its peak, it may have been home to over 5 million people. Its two most famous cities, Harappa and Mohenjo-daro, were marvels of urban planning that would not be rivaled for another 1,000 years. Unlike the chaotic organic growth of many Mesopotamian cities, these were laid out on a sophisticated grid system, with main streets oriented to the cardinal directions. The engineering prowess of the Indus people was simply astounding. They built the world's first known urban sanitation systems. Homes had private bathrooms and were connected to a citywide network of covered drains that ran under the streets, carrying waste away from the population centers. This level of public health infrastructure was unheard of in the ancient world. The Indus Valley people were also masters of trade, with their distinctive seals and beads found as far away as Mesopotamia. They developed a standardized system of weights and measures, crucial for a complex economy. However, despite their incredible achievements, they remain shrouded in mystery. We see no grand palaces for powerful kings, no monumental temples to glorify the gods, and very few signs of military conflict. Their social structure appears to have been remarkably egalitarian compared to Egypt or Mesopotamia. And most frustratingly of all, we cannot read their writing. The beautiful Indus script, found on thousands of small stone seals, remains undeciphered to this day. The brevity of the inscriptions, most with only 4 or 5 signs, makes it incredibly difficult to crack. It's this enigmatic nature that makes them so compelling. When we watch documentaries about this era, we often encounter titles like The Sumerians, Fall of the First Cities, which brilliantly chronicled the dramatic rise and collapse in Mesopotamia. But the story of the Indus Valley is a quieter, more mysterious epic. They built a civilization that, in terms of practical urban living, surpassed its more famous contemporaries, and then, for reasons we still debate, perhaps climate change, perhaps the shifting of rivers, it slowly faded away, its script and its secrets lost to time. So, who was the first civilization? As we've seen, the answer is not as simple as the one we learned in school. Was it the Sumerians who gave us the first true cities and the power of the written word? Or was it the people of Göbekli Tepe, who thousands of years earlier organized to build a temple to the heavens before they even had a town? Was it the Vinca culture of Europe who were smelting copper and using complex symbols while Mesopotamia was still in the Stone Age? Or the peaceful pyramid builders of caral-supe who created the first American metropolis without pottery or war? Or the brilliant but mysterious engineers of the Indus Valley who designed cities more advanced than any that would be seen for centuries? The truth is, there was no single first civilization. The birth of complex society wasn't a singular event, but a global phenomenon, a slow dawn that broke in different places, at different times, and in remarkably different ways. Each of these cultures represents a bold experiment in human potential, a unique answer to the fundamental question of how we can live together, create together, and build something that lasts. The story of our origins is far richer and more complex than we ever imagined. And the most exciting part is, it's a story that is still being uncovered. If this journey into the deep past has sparked your curiosity and made you question the history you thought you knew, then our mission here is just beginning. Please consider hitting that like button if you found this exploration informative. And be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to join us on our next investigation. We have so many more hidden histories to uncover together. Thank you for watching. This is First Ever Incidents, signing off until next time.